Welcome to Me and Virgil, a Genesis Brothers podcast. Cue it, Dan.
When me and Virgil, we leave the desert, for riding fast and riding hard. We hit the city, the past behind us, so we raced some hell. We had some fun, washing dishes.
And we're back with another, well, this isn't quite a usual episode. It's what I like to call an EP episode, an extended play, kind of like the Spot the Pigeon EP type of thing, where I say this now because we've just started recording, and for all I know, we're going to talk for 2 hours and it'll just be a whole full episode. But this time I don't think so. But that's why it's going to be an EP episode, because it's going to be a little shorter one about covering a couple concerts we went to last year. Before that,
yes,
I am Virgil, and with me is
me,
aka Dan.
Yes.
Yes. Welcome back, Dan. It's good to get together again. It's been a while.
Hey, that's been a while.
Christmas, the holidays, rain.
Yeah. Well, happy belated New Year
yes,
to all you. Well, actually, I was going to say that, but we actually did release a couple of episodes in January. That's true.
Yeah.
So.
You're about to move again, but you're not moving yet, so you still have a bit more time.
We've got a bit of time. Yeah.
Yes.
So yes, lots to do still, but yeah.
This episode, so it's a EP episode, meaning ideally it's going to be shorter. Again, I don't know that until we actually do it, but I really think this is going to be shorter. We're covering 2 shows we went to last year. I saw the Musical Box for the first time in October, and Dan saw...
Is that what your T-shirt's all about then? Yes.
Oh yeah. What was really cool, which I didn't know about, I was all set to... Well, actually, I'll save this until I start talking about the show. But then you went to another show, some guy called Steve Hackett, I think his name is, right?
That's right. Yes.
That sounds familiar.
And not after the horror movie Hackett, but yeah.
Oh yeah,
Steve Hackett.
Was he in? What band was he in? Was he in some band a while back?
I want to say the Musical Box.
No.
But then again, I've got this T-shirt as well with his name on it.
That's true. Yeah. Actually, he might have done. I don't know if he's done shows ever with the Musical Box. I don't think he has though. I know we did.
Yes, I think he. Or maybe I'm getting confused with this other tribute band.
I'm having another tribute band. Okay.
He played the Return of the Giant Hogweed with them. The name's completely escaped my mind there. So you'll probably see the name here now.
Because there is a famous one, which we'll definitely link in here. Of we actually just passed the anniversary a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, of Phil playing with the Musical Box in I think it was 98, 99, early 2000, somewhere around there, where he performed with them in Switzerland. Yes. And he played Musical Box. As you'll see in the video, his thing was, as he was sitting down to play, he goes, holding his sticks, he goes, praying to God that he could get through this. But he did, and he smashed it.
Well, very conveniently, the drummer they had back then was a lefty. So it fit Phil perfectly, you see, because very ironically now, as you might see on your T-shirt there, which is a clear replica of the Genesis live record, which is that's the is that the Foxtrot tour?
I'll get started. So let's start talking about this. So the show what?
I was just going to say, just finish off that. Ironically, back then they had a left-handed drummer, but now in their current lineup, the drummer is right-handed and the bass player is left-handed. Yeah, he's got his bass on the other side. A little unusual. The drummer is on that side.
Can you see it?
You'll see it right there. You'll see it right there.
Yeah. So yes, I saw that Musical Box were touring. I tried to see them last time when they were doing the Lamb, but I can't remember what it was. It was some events or things happened that I had to cancel, unfortunately, and I had to resell the ticket, and I felt really bad, because it was a whole reenactment of everything, and they had the original screens and everything that they borrowed off Genesis and all this stuff, which would have been amazing. And that was like 2 or 3 years ago, but it just didn't work out. So then when I saw they were touring this year, I was like, to make this happen. And it did. So it was in October, on the 26th of October, I went to go see them. And I was all expecting, because I didn't want to spoil myself too much, obviously, but and honestly, there isn't a lot of stuff out there, which is intentional on their part for what footage and stuff there is. And and details on their tours and things like that, because they want to keep kind of secret so that when you go, you get the full, natural, undiluted experience, you know? But I thought I was going to go see the 50th anniversary of the Selling England by the Pound tour. But it turned out the night I went was literally the night they kicked off the Genesis Live tour of doing the tour they're doing now for the next 2 years. I think it's through this year and maybe part of next year too, of just the Genesis Live stuff. And it just happened to be the first night that night of going to see them. So I went there. I knew it wasn't a place I'd seen shows before in San Francisco. I've seen a number of different acts there. Roxette, Bare Naked Ladies, a bunch of different people, yeah. Peter Gabriel, obviously, which was at the Oracle Arena, which was a huge thing. And I know they do things at my baseball team, the Oracle Stadium. But this was at the Regency Ballroom, so which I know was a smaller venue, and I just checked, and it's a 2,300 person capacity. So when I walked in there, it was basically a big, it's very simple, like almost like a theater stage type thing. Stage, all opened up, and then just rows of chairs in a big kind of long rectangle thing. I was like 4 or 5 rows back, off to the right. It was very cool though, because they had the stage all set up, and we'll post photos of these, so it'll be showing up right between us there. There.
Oh yeah, actually,
between us. Yeah.
I think you'll be there.
Yeah, I can't remember if it flips or not, so I'll look both ways.
That's true, yes.
But it was cool, so they had the whole stage just set up, the lights on, and you could literally walk up to the stage, lean on it, and take tons of photos of everything. So you literally had, you could see the white drums, the bells and everything, and then, you can't quite see it in this. It's Tony's, I think it's the Mellotron. It's all white and everything there, and everything. It just looks very cool and sleek and stuff. And then when I sat there, I was wearing my Me and Virgil podcast T-shirt saying, ask me about my podcast. And one person did, and I gave her a card. So if you're listening now,
nice.
Glad to have you here. Hope you made it. And you were right. They were a life-changing band for me to see, and I will now see them every time they ever tour again and I get a chance to.
Oh, man.
Yes.
Okay.
Because that's what she recommended. She's seen them about, I think she said 6 or 7 times, and says, your life will change. Yeah. So yeah, I took a bunch of photos and then sat down, and then was all ready to get, basically the lights came down, we were all getting excited. It filled up, it was at capacity, so it was nice to have, like 2,300 hardcore Genesis fans in the room, because you don't come to early Genesis unless you care about that special, unique early music. No invisible touches here, it's all hogweeds and fountains and watches.
We're back to the land of fantasy.
Yes. So lights went down, it went all dark, and then this came out on the stage, and I was able to quickly snap a photo, which will be showing up right now. And then security came and said, "No photos! Don't do anything! Don't do anything!" So they don't let you do any filming, no photos. That was the one I was fortunately able to do. Unfortunately, they didn't kick me out or anything. But yeah, they control everything. They have a whole security force all around. And I was thinking about this, and it could be for a number of reasons, either one or the other, but also all of them. But I think it's part of the experience that, they do a full reenactment, a lot like Ozzy Floyd, of going for the 100% accurate as possible. Costumes, set design, instruments, all this stuff, the whole look and everything like that, and the sound. And so they want you to have that, that true experience and not be spoiled in any way by having seen stuff beforehand. That way you come in and it really is that much more impactful when you come and see them. The other thing I was thinking about is there was no internet in 1972. There was no, fancy cameras and recording devices and bootlegging. I mean, there's a bit of bootlegging and stuff too, obviously, but not quite the same to the same extent and as widely spread as it is now. And so, again, maybe they're just being more accurate to the time. You wouldn't have fancy flash photography with your phones going off and stuff, It's like, no, that didn't exist. We're going for the feel here. We're immersing you in that time of what it's like.
That's how dedicated they are.
Yep. And so, he came out looking like that. And then they kicked it off with, I believe it was...
Watcher of the Skies?
pulls that up. Watch of the Skies. Yep. And again, it was again the simple set where this is a big curtain at the back, and they they don't really show pictures on it, but they can show different color lights and everything, and the effect with the stuff, the instruments around the stage and light reflecting off that, the white drums and stuff, and then with the guy doing Peter's part of what he's wearing and stuff. It's all very intentional and made to reflect light, a lot of black light and cool effect stuff.
Right.
That just really makes a strong impression. So, yeah.
I was just going to say, I actually got to make one correction there, because this has been an ongoing, I think, not error, but the error of thought. The picture there on the on your T-shirt, which is the replicated picture from Genesis Live, actually that's not the costume for Watcher of the Skies.
No,
that particular one right there. That's Apocalypse and 9/8.
Right, I just realized that. Yeah,
but everyone kept thinking that, right. Because that's what it was. So he was standing there before the song actually began. You're saying?
Just doing that with
really?
the light. Yeah, and again, that's what the photo will show.
Okay.
All the listeners screaming now and about to leave us angry comments saying, "What the hell are you talking about?" Sorry about that. It was a while ago. But yes, no, it was the different helmet that he was wearing and stuff. Yeah. Actually,
sorry,
it's like a. Was it a helmet or was it more just? I can't remember. It was just face makeup or something, but it was just so reflective and just like you're seeing this weird like hanging head almost in the darkness and things like that too, and just. And then it was a constant play of like. Lights would come on, and then you'd see him moving around and singing and stuff, and then it would cut back to the instrumental bit, and then the lights would drop down again, and it's just his face, and just it was really done for an impressive theatrical effect. So nice. I will now restate my thing of before I said I'm pretty happy I wasn't around in the early 70s because I might have been a little, pissed off with all these costumes and dress up things Peter was doing and gotten, angry at it. Where's the music here? It's all about the music. It's not about this. Wiped clean. I mean, I never saw The Lamb, so that might be a little different. But after seeing this, it adds so much more to the ambience and the experience of what you're getting with the show. I mean, yes, there are tuning and doing stuff between songs, so you need a few little things. And he did all the stories, just like Peter did too. Of in between the songs and entertaining us and all this stuff. And it was fun because it was a smaller venue, not as big. We almost had a little bit of conversation between us where we could be reacting to him and saying stuff and doing things, and he would be feeding off of us too. Whereas at a bigger thing, you can't really say, oh, blah, 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 because he won't hear you. So it really worked well with this smaller venue, and I think that's how they just do all the tour. Like it's at smaller venues that works like that really well.
I think it's quite amazing. You've come a long way from as a Genesis fan, because I remember even as kids, you wanted nothing to do with the Peter Gabriel era stuff that I was listening to.
Only
it's
if
not
Phil.
So shut up. Yeah, shut up. And now here you are watching the Peter Gabriel era band of Genesis, but as a tribute act. I mean, well done. Congratulations.
I'm older and wiser. And it was just, I've never gone to hear. I've seen Genesis once, twice steadily for the same tour, and then seen all the videos and stuff. But being able to see, all the earlier video stuff we have from this era, it's grainy at best. It's very poor quality. You really can't see anything. I can hear and enjoy the music, but just seeing the experience is not quite the same. Well, I'd say Bataclan is the new change on that because of the updated 4K thing that gives you that experience more.
But the 4K thing, That's incredible. I'm definitely going to include some footage.
So I was never really to know kind of how the whole show worked together, and I can see just like it was pushing the envelope and doing something new and different, much like David Bowie over there was doing at the same time with his Ziggy Stardust and all his crazy stuff, and things that he's putting on a whole. I mean, I think a lot of it was all just Peter too, putting it all together. Partially with, we need to kill some time and I need to do something with my hands while I'm not singing with all the instrumentals or whatever and do things. And it all just really works to make a full big experience. Not just listening to some music here, but I'm having a whole show experience here of what's going on.
Nice. And was the lighting as well? Was that? I mean, obviously, I presume it was just
it's all the same how it was,
very
pretty
basic.
Simple, but again, how they use that with different colors and things to just make this impression again with this simple white curtains behind, but when you make it dark and then you flash, lighting and everything off of it, you can get different glow effects and movements and things. Obviously, if you do lights on the front of the stage onto him, then you get the shadow on the back and all these different things that just made such a strong impression on me.
Amazing.
They did, and this was accurate to the, I believe, the actual tour they did. So it was Watcher, then they did Musical Box. I mean, it was just so amazing to hear these songs.
As second track. Wow.
To hear these songs. Well, I think this is accurate to, I suppose I should have research, but I think this is accurate to how they did the tour for this stuff, for this time, and just to hear these songs that I've heard hundreds of times, on various means, but just experience it live in this way, in this raw, the closest you get is, I guess, maybe, more recently, like Old Medley with the beginning of it or something, just that feel and things like that, but they're never quite, you don't have that kind of like almost young, angry, early Genesis, full of power and everything that they had with those earlier songs that are about weird, fantastical things, but are just, transcendental music. Then they did Get Him Out by Friday, and again, he's telling all the stories and everything in between. He's acting it out and doing this stuff, doing all the movements. A little bit of footage we've seen with Peter with the it was the mic stand and what he's doing all that. He's rehearsed it all, everything. His weird little darts, and then his and the way he works with the audience that we've seen what Peter do. He did that all too. It was incredible. Wow. It was really just it was a whole performance that they're putting on. But it was like, oh, I'm literally transported back to 72.
Wow.
Then they did Fountain of Salmacis, or Salmacis, or Salamacia, however you want to say.
Wow. Okay.
Then they did a little song called Supper's Ready for 25 minutes, which was just to be in the crowd, raising up with Apocalypse 9/8 coming, and then he comes out and he's swinging back and forth like some demon and everything. It's just like screaming. And then again, really to be amongst such hardcore fans, it's like I've been to a Genesis concert before. I've been to Phil Collins concerts, and it's like only about 70-75% of people there are fans of varying degrees, and then there's the other 25% are just, oh, it's a concert. I'm rich, so I'm just going to go see it, and so they'll just be there for whatever, to drink and have fun. Whereas this was just like, no, these are all super hardcore fans who are just here for this early special music, and we could feel that in the room where everyone's just like, much like I'm sure the mostly guys, of course, in those early 70s times, those young guys all together in the audience were just really into the music and feeling it. And then after Supper's Ready, it was Return of the Giant Hogweed.
Return of the Giant Hogweed!
Yeah. I mean, the guy's voice is obviously not exact, but it's a little higher almost, it sounds, than Peter's. But again, it's worked very well for the music.
Amazing. And
then I'm trying to, and you had the guy, the bassist, Mike, who was left-handed, as you said. Yes. He was sitting most of the time. Yeah. And then, you had
I was going to say, as was Steve as well.
And then, I mean, it was really interesting to see, because I knew, and I've read about it in various books and things, how, because you always think of, oh, Mike's the bassist, he just plays the bass. It's like, but on that earlier stuff, it wasn't so much bass, there was bass pedals, and it was Mike doing a lot of like either rhythm guitar or 12-string over it. And I didn't really realize how much there was until I saw these songs being performed, that I realized just how much, other stuff. It wasn't really, there was bass for certain parts, but then he'd be switching constantly to 12-string and doing other things and stuff like that too. Right. Which was just interesting to see how that all worked and everything. And then the guy who played the part of Tony did a fantastic job of just being very dour and concentrating on his playing all the time. And they all had long hair, which worked for the look and everything, The Steve guy had glasses on and everything. So after that, it was the encore section where they ended with the knife, like they originally did at every show for this, which was just ecstatic. And then they basically said, so that's it. That was the, recreation of the live show that they did for Genesis Live, ended that. But because we got a bit more time, we're going to do a few extra songs now.
All right.
And they did Seven Stones, which was very interesting just to hear that live.
What?
And then, they ended the show with Can Utility and the Coastliners. Which I was very happy to hear live, and it was fantastic. I was like, okay, that's the way to end the show.
That's so random. God, it's almost like those were requests tonight. These are the requests from the audience that have left
or maybe
us
it's ones they particularly
online.
like playing, or I should maybe look a bit and see if I don't know if they do anything different for. I'm pretty sure it's probably the same set list they do every time. Like I would like for the encore numbers too, you know.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't expect them to change it in any way. I think they keep the same encore ones unless they have different ones. I don't know.
Sure.
I can check real quick. But that's pretty much it for that. For what I have to say on that. Any thoughts or questions you want to add?
No, just. I mean, were they still kind of like fully dressed up with the whole those extra encores like Seven Stones and Kenny?
Yeah, I mean they didn't. I guess I'm trying to remember if he told. I don't think he really told a story for each one. He just said, and now we're going to do, because we had this extra time, we're going to do some extra songs. This is Seven Stones. And again, he did a kind of performance with it, as you would, because being a singer. But there wasn't anything stand out about it special, but it was just really nice to hear these particular ones, you know?
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Where are they now? They're in Italy. Oh! All right, cutting back. So, man, I wish I was in, where's this? Italy?
Oh, what?
Apparently they did
the extra.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the set list. They did Seven Stones, and then they did Twilight Alehouse. Oh, man, I would have taken that over Seven Stones. Maybe that's just an Italy thing. Maybe because maybe that's just.
Well, I mean, Italy, you know, as we know, has always been really good to the band. So I just gave them an extra present there, an extra thank you. Even as a tribute band.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. So this is the current. As your T-shirt reads, this is the current tour that they're still doing and will be doing even through to next year. Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So they're doing it through this year, and I don't know if it's all of next year or part of next year for this particular tour.
Right.
I can't remember if they checked. I don't think have they swung by your way yet. I don't know if they have or not.
I don't know yet, but they weren't that close to me. So with everything going on for
again, I think it's the thing is when doing smaller venues, they have to control where they're doing it and stuff. Yeah, looks like right now they're doing Lille in France, and after that, on the 23rd of March, they're in Paris at a venue known as Le Bataclan.
royalty venue. My God, that's gonna be a special night. No doubt they've played there probably numbers of times.
Then they go into Spain, it looks like, and then they do some Germany, but I guess that doesn't work for you. Bochum, Mannheim, when and where are they in Spain? They're in Madrid on the 2nd of April or Barcelona on the 1st.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah. No, yeah, if that was later in the year, that would work, yeah. I mean, if you look here again, if I look at the venues, it's like the one in Manchester, it's Bridgewater Hall.
Well, they're also playing like De Montfort Hall, aren't they?
Yes, that's in Leicester. Yeah, that's the day before, or few days before. The Corn Exchange in Cambridge. And then the big London gig is not the Royal Albert Hall, it's the Golders Green Hippodrome. Hippodrome is a horse racing event, but these are all...
Yeah, well, I mean, again, they could be that dedicated that they're saying, listen, for this tour, we're only choosing these size of venues.
If the places are still around, if Genesis played there, we want to book it. Yeah.
Exactly.
That would be impressive.
We want to play the halls on the show, not arenas, okay? I mean, if they didn't do it back in the day, we're not
that dedicated to go that far into the research and see exactly what is around. I mean, someone could do a book on that, I guess. I'm trying to think. There is that discography or live book of Genesis that has every single gig that you can get.
Ooh.
And that will tell you all the venues. I never thought of that. I was thinking, like, I don't know why I'd ever want that, though, because I'd look at it once, that'd be it. But maybe this is why you need to have it, just to match it up.
I mean, surely you'll be able to get rough, maybe not every single one, but a rough gist of that from
and then
Wikipedia or something.
Setlist FM actually gives it to you too, I think so.
Setlist, yeah.
I mean, but you just don't always know how accurate it is and stuff. But yeah, it was a really. I mean, I saw a lot of good shows last year. Saw you twice with Ozzy Floyd, and you've always been spectacular. But I mean, I've seen Ozzy Floyd a number of times over the last 15 years. But this time I thought you guys were the best you've ever been. And then I saw Crowded House in September, which was astonishingly great too, because Neil still sounds great. And it's so cool that he has, we're going off topic here, not Genesis, little Crowded House for a bit. But he has his two sons with him, playing with him. So one's the guitarist and one's the drummer, which is so nice. And we talked about this before, but you were trying to audition for that, And then, he went with his son.
Oh, God, years back. So
you really did, I mean, if once that was decided, you didn't really have a chance. I mean, you did the best you could, but you're not related to him. So if we had the choice between really good drummer or my son.
No, I think the way back in the day, because we're talking like mid-2000s here, I heard that he then chose his solo drummer, Neil Finn's solo drummer. He basically just used him in the end. I was just like, well, that's a bit of a cheat, isn't it?
And the cool thing was, I didn't know this too, is that the keyboard with Crowded House, who's been with them for decades, happens to be happens to be from Petaluma.
Oh, wait, he's American?
Yes, he literally lived down the road and all this stuff. Yeah,
this is Mark Hart, yeah.
No, it's a different name. Okay, maybe it's a later guy.
Oh, okay.
But he's been with them for a long time, though. They said.
Okay, because Mark Hart, I think was as far as I know one of the original members, and then he went on once they broke up. He went on and worked with Supertramp for quite a few years, and basically became the new Roger. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it was. He's on that tour. He's 97. Yeah. He's covering the Roger Hudson stuff. So the Breakfast in America, Logical Song, he's basically singing that stuff. Obviously not as many songs and everything. So yeah. And actually, again, people, sorry, off topic about this, but thanks to YouTube, actually the first 3 songs from that Malaga concert in 1997 is on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
So just say Supertramp, 97, Malaga, they're there. Just sadly the first 3 songs.
Talking about old concerts we went to here, I did look up, it was a while ago, I think a year ago or something, but it is on there. If you want to see any of the Rolling Stones Bridges to Babylon performance in Malaga, there is some stuff on there which would just be like, I was there.
I think that was also 97 actually.
Yeah,
so
I think it was.
That was a pretty good year for us. Yes.
And a few years ago,
concert
was Sting and just we had a lot of stuff.
We did. Yeah. We saw Sting the year before that as well. Yeah,
and Santana as well. Still got the shirt. It's like a billion holes in it, and it's very flimsy, but I've still got it.
And then Paul Carrack.
Oh, and talking of Santana, featuring... I can still now. Paul Carrack, I didn't get to see unfortunately because I was rehearsing for a show and got very pissed off with that. I should have just blown off the rehearsal and gone with you guys. Since you got to meet the bloody band afterwards too.
Yeah, including Gary Wallace, who little did I know until afterwards actually was the percussionist for Pink Floyd, Pulsar, and all that stuff. Yeah,
but I can still remember for Santana, and this must have been 95 then or something like that. Buying the T-shirt, and I gave the guy 2,000 pesetas, I think it was, and he said, "No, you only gave me 1,000." I was like, "What? No, I gave you 2,000. Give me my change." And we had a brief fight, and then he'd let me have it and stuff. But I can still remember that moment of getting the shirt while stinking of weed, because the weed in the air was potent that night.
Oh God, yeah. If you were never like a person who would have an intake of weed, you certainly were after that.
Well, like me, I've never smoked a thing in my life, but that night I breathed it a lot. But going back to Genesis, which is what we're doing here, and I think Musical Box really was, as I was kind of leading up to, with all the shows I saw last year, as great as Ozzy Floyd is, this was like a moment in time for me that I won't forget. And any chance I ever get to see them again, I will be.
Did you take anyone with you?
Well, this is the problem. Though I do have I have friends, but they're spread far and wide across. There actually is one guy, a co-worker he's retired now, but he's a hardcore Genesis fan. But he couldn't come for that point or whatever. And then I tried to get Chris Fletcher. He might have been interested too, but he wasn't.
I was about to ask.
But again, it is a little tough because it's not like oh, come see Genesis. They're going to do all the hits, It's like, no, this is a special hardcore,
Well, it reminds me of dear, as it's a me and Virgil podcast episode. Got to mention Tabletop Genesis because we always do.
Hey, we did
I
pretty
recall
good.
Tom.
What are we at? We're at what? 45 minutes? 36 minutes. That's pretty good.
Well, I recall Tom Roche mentioning how he took his wife to see the musical box. And when they did Watch of the Skies, this was his wife's first. I mean, this was Tom's first experience as well. Obviously, seeing the Genesis this era, but his wife was like, "Oh my God, you can see his eyes. His eyes are shining through and everything." And Tom mentions how he's like, "Damn, you are witnessing this for the first time."
Yes.
I mean, technically Tom is as well, but Tom already knows this through archive footage.
Yeah.
Whereas his wife was like, "Oh my God, you can see this." Like, damn, I wish I
like
could
to get the full impression of the performance that's being done, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's special.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Right.
basically, anyone else out there, check they're touring right now. They're touring through the year. They do a weird little thing with their website, which feels like it was made in about 2000, and they don't always keep it that way.
Yeah.
Maybe again that might be part of the mystique of them being retro and stuff. But they basically show about 30 to 50 gigs that they're doing, I think, and then it cuts off. It only goes, I think, through May or June right now. So you kind of got to keep checking back. I mean, maybe it's to keep you coming back because I keep doing that.
I keep looking at the website and feel like it feels like some elderly guy has been making this in his basement,
or something I made in 1999.
It's
when I made my
bizarre.
Genesis fan page.
Yeah, it's a very bizarre website. It's all scrunched together like in a small
and it's
thumbnail.
not like a big list of gigs. You have to scroll through in a small window.
It's always like.
But anyway,
maybe half a dozen gigs or whatever.
I think it was, like I said, we're doing Spain, Germany, they're doing Sweden, and then they're doing a bunch of shows in England. But just keep checking back because if they're coming anywhere near you, it really is worth it. It's a lot. The prices are cheaper than your big concerts too because it's a small venue and stuff. And I was able to get pretty close. I mean, I would have got closer if I'd done it earlier, I guess. But yeah, it's worth going and doing it, experiencing it.
Fantastic.
And you meet friends there right away. Yeah.
I'm sure.
And everyone dressing up in... I'm trying to remember what some people were wearing. I can't remember now. It's gone.
Okay, so they were dressed. So people were dressed up.
Some people were dressed up in various Genesis shirts and things. I think.
Were they like partially shaved heads or something?
No, I didn't see any of that. And it wasn't like when I went and saw seeing Phil and Genesis and stuff. Generally a lot of people are older and things like that. Here it felt here was a big spectrum. I saw plenty of younger people and stuff too. Which was nice to see, to be like, again, hardcore stuff, and you've got some young people really into it as we are.
Yeah.
Not that we're older or anything, but we're just getting in middle range.
Hey, we are in the middle range.
Marvelously what was it? Marvelously preserved torsos.
Magnificently preserved torsos.
And for those listeners out there, I have to say the merchandise you got there on you looks really fantastic. It's really great. It's got the musical box logo at the top, and the T-shirt is the complete replica of the Genesis Live album
that's
cover.
Really what it was. It's as close as I could get to, other than inventing a time machine and traveling back.
I mean, I could imagine that probably had to have been a photo shoot. That picture right there.
Maybe, yeah.
Unless they were the look? Were that accurate?
They are that. That was the other thing I
shot.
Yeah, that was the other thing I wanted to talk about too. Is that Phil's drum kit at this point is very simplistic. I mean, do you remember how many? What has he got? Like 2 or 3?
Even for that lineup there, he's still got his 2 rack toms there and 2 floor toms.
Yeah, floor toms. Yeah,
and his cymbals are still. Yeah, it's pretty basic, I think, as well.
Yeah, and then there was
very basic. I think he does have. I mean, in terms of number wise, I think it's pretty much the same. They're just varied, and then of course he's got his massive tubular bells behind him.
Yes, which he doesn't do that much, but Tubble's ready and stuff. No. But just seeing that and seeing how simple that kit was, and obviously that's you've played on that many a time, and but I never quite realized how much of a variety of sound you could get out of that. For it being such a simple, and I'm so used to seeing Phil's usual giant rack of a million drums and all this stuff. I know. And you're like, I was really blown away with just and the drummer was fantastic. I mean, you're my number one drummer, and you could easily fill his role if you need to, but he was amazing, and he got so much variety of sound and how he played it and stuff. I was just astonished, honestly. It's like a keyboard. Yes, you for the time you only have so many sounds you can make out of it, but you still have a whole set of keys from notes you can do. Whereas the drumming, it's almost limited. But with how good he was able to do all that was just mind-blowing.
Yeah. Well, if you check out some like old footage, I think it was when they first went to Belgium, and they were being filmed for a TV show or something like this. And Phil's kit is even more basic there. Yeah. He's got like one tom and cymbal, and even there he's still just to do stuff over it. The sound.
I mean, you get the sense obviously when they were hearing him do this, we're like, well, we've made the right choice in picking him.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
He's just so
doubt
incredible. All right, let's move on to your little show you went to.
Well, I mean, what's brilliant is I feel like the Genesis gods were shining down on me on how this entire thing happened with the Steve Hackett show, because I have seen Steve twice already in my lifetime. So way back in when I was still living in London, so we're talking 2003 maybe, something like that. And then I saw him again, probably 2018 perhaps, here in Berlin. And funny enough, the day before that he was playing at the same venue as Ozzy Floyd were playing, so they were in the crowds and we hung out and watched the rest of the show as well together, so that was really great. So well, first of all, how it kind of happened, it was a complete chance that I happened to be in the same town that Steve Hackett was in, because for those of you who may not have heard, so all of last summer I helped out Australian Pink Floyd. I stepped in onto the drum throne literally because the main drummer Bonnie had a major operation, so he was out for the duration of the entire American tour. Then US tour, yeah. And then just to be on the safe side, I was asked if I can join in for a few shows for the UK tour, for then Bonnie to come back. That he just felt like he needed a bit more time. So I covered about 6 shows of the UK tour. So one of those shows was in Stoke-on-Trent, and so we were there. We just arrived at Stoke-on-Trent. Bonnie was saying goodbye. He was going to head back because he lives near Manchester, and we were there, and I was back. I was in my hotel room already. I already said goodbye to Bonnie and everything, and then I then went back down because he was still there. And I thought, you know what? Because they were having some beers. Then I thought I want to hang out one more time, and we were there. And then this random couple appear out of nowhere, and they appear to have engaged in some certain type of beverages that evening. So they were a bit slurring. They kind of bumped into us. Yeah, they were bumped into us a little bit, but they said something like, "Oh, here's Steve Hackett." I was like, "I'm sorry, what did you say?" It's like, "Are you guys in town to see Steve Hackett?" I was like, "Steve Hackett? Well, Steve Hackett's playing." "Oh, yeah, he's playing at the Victoria Hall tomorrow night." And we're like, "Oh," and I was like, "Hang on a minute, do we have a day off tomorrow?" "Yes, we do." "Oh," it's like I got to go online to check this, and turns out it's like, so we've just arrived in Stoke-on-Trent. Tomorrow we have a day off here in Stoke-on-Trent, and tomorrow night Steve Hackett is playing here tomorrow night. I was like, so I immediately jumped into the Ozzy Floyd group, and I was like, right, people, who wants to go and see Steve Hackett tomorrow night? And it's like, yes. And I thought that's just incredible. And
I was about to say, so from a writer's perspective, there's a literary term called a MacGuffin, where it's a thing you will shove into a story to make a thing happen. And then if you don't have that thing there, whether it's like Chekhov's gun or a specific, kryptonite, whatever it is to make a thing happen, because if it's not there, it won't happen. That guy is the MacGuffin of this story. If you take him out of it, it doesn't happen. It's incredible.
Completely. And actually, that guy will make a return in the story.
Cool.
Yes, he will. So, he had a very distinct, very skinny guy, and he had a very, very unique look about him. So, I mean, like I said,
and he wasn't Steve's tour manager or anything, right?
No. So, and then a whole bunch of people said yes. Lorelei McBroom, one of the backing singers, she actually knows and is good friends with both Steve and his wife, Jo Hackett, and has worked with Steve many, many times on his albums. So I will forever be grateful for Lorelei. She actually said like, "Oh, you know what? Let me get in touch with Steve and Joe and see about getting you guys guest pass tickets." It's like, oh my God, are you serious? And then and I was like, well, why don't I just take the extra mile and being like, Lorelei, what are the chances if there being maybe some backstage passes or something like that? And she said, well, nothing was mentioned yet about that, but I'll get back to you. And then the next day occurred, and I was like, hi, morning, Lorelei, how's it going? And she's like, guest tickets are sorted. And manager has just been in touch with me as well. And when you get there, head to the merchandise section, look for a guy named, I've forgotten his name now, and he'll take you backstage to see Steve Hackett for a pre-show party.
Wow.
I was like, holy crap. Because I remember when I saw Steve in London, so 2003, my friend Kian, who actually got me into Steve Hackett's solo career, because his bass teacher, Terry Gregory, at the time, was Steve Hackett's bass player at the time, you see. So
it's all about who you know, right?
Exactly. So we went to see that. We saw the show at the Shepherd's Bush Empire. It was fantastic. And my mate Kian, because he knew the bass player, he and his friend, they got to meet Steve and Terry Gregory that night. Plus, a certain former Led Zeppelin bass player, John Paul Jones, was there that night as well, and joined them on stage for Los Endos. And so Kian was backstage, and he was like, Genesis, Led Zeppelin. He was just like, this is a very bizarre moment. Anyway, so
so it's interesting to get a pre-show instead of an after-show. It makes it a little different.
Yeah. And so I was thinking, like, finally I'm going to get to meet Steve.
But at least that way they're not like... Cause sometimes, I mean, you are riding the high of finishing the show.
Yeah.
You also can be very exhausted. I mean, I know this with Ozzy Floyd.
Of course.
But there's some members are just like, I don't want to talk to anyone right now. I just want to go to my dressing room and collapse. And it's like, that kind of makes sense for after the show. So pre-show kind of makes it, they're still excited about the upcoming gig and stuff, you know?
Exactly, and this is a 75-year-old man, so his probably was like, after the gig, I'm spent, No, he does that. Although I have to say, obviously now when we got to finally meet him, I mean, we kind of thought like, oh, we're going to meet in a canteen somewhere, in a room somewhere with some drinks and everything. No, it was like this tiny hallway. And it was just like, you're just there, and then out comes Steve and Joe, his wife, as well. So it was lovely to meet her as well. And then when you saw Steve, it was kind of like, oh, okay, now I can see, like, with further details, it's like, okay, so you're getting on in your time and everything. So
when you see
but
it was really right.
Yeah, it was really great. And I remember I was kind of always wondering, like, what is the first thing I'm going to say to Steve Hackett, who's like, one of my musical heroes and everything,
it's going to be
the band that got me started with Guns in the first
place.
First
and Fifth, when you played that particular note, why did you?
Well, actually, I did have something I wanted to say to him, because I spent then all of that day plus the day before listening to his last two albums, because I had not actually had them. I had not actually had them yet. So the latest
That's
album.
good though, because I'm sure he has no problems talking about Genesis and everything, because it's helped his career so much, all this stuff.
Yeah.
But he would love nothing more than to actually talk about his music, which is obviously more important.
Exactly. And
Right,
I had listened
right
to his album. Yeah, and I did listen to his album Circus and the Night Whale. And actually, there's a concept album about this character. And Steve actually says, well, it's actually a story based on kind of like my life story in this version.
I think I did hear about that too.
Yeah, well, the thing is, when I actually listened to it, through to it, I have to say that the storyline reminds me entirely of the Adventures of Pinocchio.
Oh,
completely.
yeah. Well, I thought that too with the whale thing, and it was,
with the whale and the circus as well, and he meets this bully as well. So it would just follow on, and I wanted to kind of bring that up with him.
There's also the Bible story. I think it's a Bible story of Jonah and the whale too, being swallowed by the whale.
Right.
So
yes.
It's an old story.
So I wanted to kind of bring this. So I actually wanted to bring this up with him, saying like, "Oh, it reminds me of Pinocchio," and I was like, "What am I going to say to my hero, Steve Hackett?"
So that's
just
real quick. That's funny because I'm on a Pink Floyd mailing list thing, and they've re-released the Live at Pompeii thing in 4K right now and stuff like that. So it's showing a few places and things like that. And then on there it said, "Get entered to win to ask Nick Mason a question." And I saw the email.
Oh, I saw that too.
Yeah, and I
saw that too. Yeah,
I have no idea what I'd even want to ask him that I could really change my life, so I'm not even going to try.
I know. Me neither. And I have just finished his book as well. So he's kind of answered everything for me.
Yeah, exactly.
But I bought some stuff for merchandise.
What I would say, I wouldn't be a question. It would be an order. It would say, "Do another Pink Floyd album with David."
Yeah. So I had ordered the digital copy of his album Circus and the Night Whale. His previous album, though, I bought there and then at the merchandise desk a copy of it. A physical copy. It was beautiful. Plus, inside of it was a picture of Steve there with Lorelei. And I thought, well, I gotta get a picture of that. So I got that. Plus, I bought Steve's book, his biography as well. Oh, but I know we mentioned that last time, but we got the title wrong. The title's called A Genesis in My Bed. That's what it's called. So I bought his book, Genesis, in my bed, and I thought, oh, that would be very intriguing to hear that. And I just finished the book recently, but I kind of wonder whether actually the title of that book came from. And actually, it came from a slightly bizarre Genesis fan. So when Steve was with Genesis and they were on tour in the States somewhere, there was a devoted Genesis fan, and Steve was kind of she kind of I think something like made her way to his hotel room.
When this was, by the way, which tour or anything, or?
I think probably when they first hit the States for the first time, so like 73, something like that, you see. And she actually was excited about the fact that I think she made it into his hotel room or something like that. And she actually said like, oh, cool, I get a Genesis in my bed.
So they're one female fan.
Yeah, thanks to her. So anyway, so I got Steve to sign the book, even though he had signed it on the outside, but he signed on the inside too. And then got him to sign
the album too, or by any chance?
Oh yeah. I hadn't.
Because then you didn't get Lorelei. Did you have Lorelei sign it too?
I did. So I was ready. I was like, okay, what are you going to say to him? What are you going to say to him? And I had a bit of a moment too. I just went. My brother and I have a podcast about Genesis. And he was like, oh, that's
really?
great.
Join the others.
Oh, that's great. That was mine.
You were starstruck, understandably.
Yeah. And so we got to. So, because obviously Steve Hackett is very familiar with Australian Pink Floyd due to Lorelei's involvement and everything. Right. So he knew he was like, oh, you guys are the Australian Pink Floyd, and I'm like, yes, I guess we are. Yeah, I'm officially part of their band tonight. And so it's like, let's have a picture with all of us. And then it was David, the keyboard player from Ozzy Floyd. He also joined us for the gig. And then it was David, who I'm always very grateful for him. He said, hey, perhaps considering, how you are feeling about it, do you two want a picture together? And I'll take a picture for you.
That's right. Then you had that great photo. Yeah.
And I was like, mate, thank you so much. So that was really,
and that way, when
there's
someone else doing it instead of you, like a crazy fan, it's less creepy.
Exactly. So it was really nice, really lovely. And Joe, his wife, is adorable. She's just so loving, and see why they're so connected. You see.
So you didn't choose then to be naked in his bed later after the show
no, nothing like that. No. So then, and then we had fantastic seats. So it was a place called the Victoria Hall, which I believe was like a converted church. And actually, you looked inside. There's these ginormous pipe organs stuck at the back there. And I was like, oh, I hope he plays it. But no, he didn't. No. But so it was, in terms of the room, quite loud and echoey. Plus, his drummer, Craig Blundell, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. His drums are extremely loud, especially his snare. So it really blasted through and everything. But overall, for what it was, the sound was still great. And apparently they've played it before. Maybe we're talking like, I don't know, possibly... I don't want to say 800 there. That's probably exaggerating a little bit, but we're in the hundreds in terms of capacity here for the venue. So, yeah. But seat-wise, amazing. We were probably on the left-hand side, and we're probably about 7 rows back, but all lined up until the very end of the row. And the guys all said, "Dan, you sit at the very end there." And very conveniently, though, we were actually 1 row in front of the photographers for the evening. Oh, okay. So I kept wondering why there was a bag.
Not behind.
But we were in front of them. Funny enough, I kept wondering why was there an empty chair with a bag in front of a bag behind me, and every now and then I kept seeing this guy, kneeling down at the front taking pictures, and I realized, oh, those are the photographers. I see. So yeah.
So what did you say? So Victoria Hall. Where was it? What was the town?
Stoke-on-Trent.
That's right.
And this was so you saw Genesis. You saw Genesis. You saw the musical box. What was the date again? 22nd of October. You said 26th of October. This was us on the 13th of October. So the same month.
Was a good month.
It was a good month. So I was trying to find some reviews of the show, and strangely enough, actually, I saw a review of one guy of the show, and there's actually a picture of him posing with Steve, and I was like, hey, I recognize that hallway, and I was like, oh, I saw that guy there. I remember him standing there before us as well. So yeah.
So capacity says, well, first it said it was opened in 1888, so it's an old place, and 1,467 people there, so it's a good number.
Oh well, okay, so I was a bit off then.
And it was pretty full, was it?
I believe it was pretty sold out. I have to say, yeah. So, there are some pro pictures here from
the pre-show, and then you go to. You weren't excited for the gig, but now you're extra excited for the gig.
Yes, exactly.
haven't
So
just done
Steve's trend now, it seems to be over the years now that he does his first half of his show with his latest album, plays a few numbers from his latest album, and then he'll play some of his, classics.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And then he'll go off and have a break, come back on, and then they will focus on whatever the anniversary
Whatever
album
Genesis
is
thing
of
was,
that
yeah.
year, you see. Now, I didn't actually realize this, but all of last year, the first half of the year, he was still touring the anniversary of Foxtrot. I didn't actually realize that because he started that the year before, then 23. But he kept it going for 24. And then I think maybe before the summer, they had the break, or I'm not too sure. But then began the anniversary of The Lamb, you see.
Right.
So
you caught the Lamb one, did you?
we caught the Lamb one, which I was
It's
extremely
funny,
happy
in a
about,
crazy
yeah.
way, very similar to my experience with
Yeah,
musical box.
true.
Except
Very
this,
true, yeah.
If this was going to be called a tour, it was the Foxtrot tour, really, because that's what the
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, exactly,
So that's
yeah.
kind of funny though, but that's good. The Lamb highlights would have been fun to see, just to have it. All
Well, yeah, and so he, so I was presuming he was going to open up with his new album, latest album's opening track, which is called "People of the Smoke," and lo and behold, he did. He came on stage, they began, and I was like, yes.
That one song
So
I
I got
was
this.
pretty good. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I've got the song here. So I opened up with the song "People of the Smoke." Then there was another track called "Circo Inferno," which is a mad, crazy, fast track as well.
Yeah.
And then These Passing Clouds. So these are the only three tracks he played from the latest.
But there's one that's like a long medley on there, isn't it, or something? Or was that the other? I think that's on the other side, or.
That's something else.
Okay.
I don't know what that is.
Okay.
Yeah, no, there's no medleys here or anything.
Okay.
No. So, but then when Steve was doing his first bit of banter for the evening, he said, "So yeah, everyone, hope you're all doing all right and everything. So we're gonna play a few songs from the new album, that, and then later on, we're gonna come back and play a particular album." And we're like, "Oh," and people were like, "Oh," and he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna play a little bit of Dark Side of the Moon for you." And we're all chucking, and then he said, "Oh yeah, and I think we've got actually Australian Pink Floyd in the audience tonight." And he actually pointed out, and we all went, "Ray!" And he said, "Oh, see, there you go." And as soon as I put my arms out, I was like, oh my God, Steve Hackett just called us out in the audience. That's pretty amazing.
Bit different from a small nightclub with 100 people and you're sitting there and the guy's calling out you, and then Steve Hackett is saying you guys out at his concert at this big venue.
Yeah, that was like two amazing worlds coming together.
Didn't Steve go see you guys the following night or something too? Then, or
the plan was he was going to come and see the guys in Brighton. And I was doing my absolute best to try and go and be at that show as well, because it was still unsure of when Main Job or Bonnie would be coming back. But the thing is, and I was talking to the manager about it, and I was like, could I do that show? But I was like, but the next day I'm going to be in Germany at 10 o'clock in the morning to play a show myself. So, but turns out actually Steve didn't make that show because he hurt his back.
Oh.
So,
it was
the
meant
band
to be that way, yeah, basically.
No, but Australian Pink Floyd a few weeks later in November, I think they actually played the Albert Hall.
Yeah, that was incredible.
And Steve joined them
that's
then.
Right. That's where
and
he was at.
I was
okay.
But I was extremely happy because Bonnie himself, who's been with the band since 1996, 97, he said that gig was the best gig of his entire life.
It was incredible seeing that stuff. It was just so magical, the footage and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And there was one song from the previous album which I was really hoping he was going to do, and very conveniently, as the church organs were in there, a track from the previous album called "The Devil's Cathedral."
Oh,
and
perfect.
I was really praying that he would play that track, and he said, "This song's called "The Devil's Cathedral," and probably could have asked the guys in the band. I was a giddy school child who looks like I'm seeing my favorite cartoon character appearing on stage. I was just being blown away. And of course, you've now welcoming Steve's singer, Nad Slavan, or Slavan, which, funny enough, I realized who's actually Swedish, by the way.
Oh.
And plus, if you actually switch his first name around, it's Dan. So that's interesting. Anyway,
and if you switch Sylvan around, it's Virgil.
Ooh, see. So anyway, but he is an incredible addition to Steve. He's been with Steve quite a few years now, but he's got the perfect just voice that matches both Steve's solo stuff and the Genesis stuff. Anyway, first I want to say we were blown away by the entire show. All of us were just like astounded by it.
Yeah.
They're all like off and on Genesis fans and everything.
Right, at different
Luke
levels and stuff too. Yeah.
And Luke in particular, who's the guitar player in Australian Pink Floyd.
And you said Chris was there too, right?
Singer Chris.
So has he seen him before or not?
I don't know actually. Sorry, Chris, if you're listening. If I've forgotten, he has seen the Musical Box before. He has seen the musical box.
Okay.
He's been absolutely blown away by them.
Yeah.
So apologies, Chris, if I've forgotten if you have seen Steve Hackett or not before.
When we
But
eventually get him on
been-
here, he can steer us straight.
Yeah. He always says thank you for us giving a shout out to him, and he always says he looks forward to our upcoming episode. So, but yeah, he's a fanatical Genesis fan, massively.
We've
So
said many times we're going to have him on here. One day we actually will have it on here instead of just saying we're going to have him on here. Anyway, you said, and then so he was doing his solo stuff.
So yeah, and then it was Every Day, which is a track from his album Spectral Morning, which is a pure classic as well. And then A Tower Struck Down, which is actually from his first album, which on the album featured Phil and Mike on that album as well. In case you didn't know that. And then it went into a bass solo, because that's how the track ends, and then goes into this incredible bass solo from the band. So I just want to give a shout out as well to the band members here. So
sorry. Randomly, real quick, as we're talking bass, but when I started thinking about Spinal Tap, the bass solo, but
okay.
They did do the bit where, I mean, it was staged, but they did have Mike Guy, hit a bass pedal, and then Peter Guy said that was an unaccompanied bass pedal solo.
No.
we're like screaming, yeah!
Actually, just quickly going back to those guys, I actually wanted to say, because I've seen a lot of footage of the musical box, and between the tracks, they start talking, especially things like when they're beginning the Lamb, and the guys like, we're in a mood of lump and story, like to play the whole thing.
He does the whole thing. Yeah, he really acts it out.
When the band, and then you hear the band like tuning and playing notes and things like that. Do you feel like they are actually saying we actually do have to tune like the 12 string and test it, or are they just deliberately doing that for the effect?
No, they are doing some of it that they do have to do,
right?
Because they do finish a lot quicker, obviously, and then he's still finishing his story. There was one bit I remember too where he was starting to tell the story, and then the mic guy said, "I think you're telling the wrong story," or whatever. And he stopped and started talking. He was like, "No, I'm telling the right one." It was just a weird little. I'm not sure if it was part of the act or if it was an actual change that night or something. Yeah. Or was that part? I actually
wanted to ask, before the supper's ready thing, was there the whole thing where he talks about old Henry walking past the pet shop and then actually says, "Covered herself a little tune. It went like this."
So he didn't do that exact one. Which
okay.
is that the Rainbow Theatre one? I can't remember which story that one's from.
It might have been the following tour. You see,
I think
that's why they didn't do it.
But there was he did do a story of old Henry. I'm trying to remember it now. And grass and things like that. I can't remember.
Mating bath time for worms.
I think it was something with that a bit. And not the full story that we've heard from the archive box set, but it was. He did tell a story again. And I think we all just knew what was coming. But anyway, so you said he did the bass solo thing.
Yeah. So I actually wanted to give a shout out to the members of the band. So I've seen Steve many times over the years and everything, and the long time members he's got is his keyboard player Roger King, who's been with him. I think he joined in like the mid noughties, and then Rob Townsend as well, who's on doing all the woodwind instruments plus keyboards, and plus plays extra percussion and drum machine and things like this as well. Then bass player wise, Jonas Reingold, and he was amazing, and he started doing this solo and just went off into this incredible thing. And I believe that drummer Craig Blundell, who is a monster, kind of joined in on it a little bit, and then they went into Camino Royale, which is one of Steve's favorite tracks ever to do as a solo artist. So and this was my first time seeing the drummer Craig. No, I'm not. Sorry, this is my second time, because I knew Steve's old drummer Gary O'Toole, who was a long-time member of his band, and actually I believe he also went, and I think he even ran a course once upon a time at the school that I went to in Acton, London, Gary O'Toole. So I saw him, and then when I saw Steve a few years back in Berlin, that was my first time seeing Steve's new drummer Craig Blundell, and then now again this time round. And Craig, like I said, he's a monster. He just brings a whole new life to the band. It's got killer foundation built inside of him. And then
give me the Genesis songs. Come on, I want to know.
yeah. And then Amanda Lehman joins him as well, who actually is the sister of Joe Hackett, Steve's wife. You see, so So then, because she's there, they do Shadow of the Hierophant. I hope I pronounced that right.
Yeah.
Hierophant, from Steve's, because Amanda's there. They can actually do the entire piece where she sings it. You see, so yeah.
Cool.
And then that's where the set finishes, and then they have a break and go off and have a break and everything. So yeah, and then of course comes back, and then of course you hear the band comes back on stage, and then of course you hear. And so now begins the lamb stuff. So yeah, they kicked off with the lamb, Fly on the Windshield, Broadway melody.
Now, did I hear? I think I've heard Dave talk about tabletop again in the last episode. They talked about it. I think that Fly on a Windshield, the guitar solo lasts a bit longer, doesn't it? Or no? Or is it just how it was?
I mean, to be honest with you, it's never really a set number of bars there.
Okay.
I feel like it's whenever Steve just kind of does this thing, and then whenever he does this little point, he goes, and then comes, that does the fill that you see. So I was kind of intrigued to see if they were going to do it in the cage. They did not. So they went from Broadway Melody of 74 straight into Hairless Heart.
Oh.
You know, I mean, again, seeing all these tracks was amazing because
so they did Broadway Melody, so they did all the weird lyrics.
Oh yes, they did that. Because sometimes Steve, back in the day before we had Nad, they just did the instrumental version of that.
Oh, okay. So Nad sang all those weird lyrics. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, but at the same time, Gary O'Toole, who had in the band, was also one of the main singers. You know, he would cover some stuff. You know. Then they did Carpet Crawlers, which again was just pretty amazing and very interestingly because obviously I've now technically heard that song played 3 times. From different inaugurations. Yeah. One was Genesis Reunited in 2008, and then Genesis Reunited again in 2022. Yep. So, yeah, and now with that, so that was a goosebump.
Of course, that was their final numbers they did for each of the shows too. So yeah,
exactly. And then Chamber of 32 Doors, which is pretty fantastic.
I love
that song. I have to point out a very amusing moment during that song. So. Earlier on, before when we were picking up our tickets from the box office, singer Chris just basically took the lead of it and grabbed the tickets and then handed them to us. Here's your guest passes and here's this, and I just kind of went, "Oh, thanks, Dad." You know, he looked at us like, and then when we sat down, we had our drinks, and I think he handed a drink to us, and I was like, "Hey, thanks, Dad." You know, and he looks at us again and everything. So there's now if you Genesis fanatics out there, you might know there's a lyric in the song which is a parental lyric. And right before Nad sings it, I was gesturing to the guys because Chris was way on that side there, on my left. Mm-hmm. So I literally, as Nad was about to sing it, I mouthed it to the guys and I went, "My father to the left of me." And then they just couldn't stop laughing. I thought, so I had to do it. So anyway, and then Lily White Lilith, they did as well. And then I was kind of intrigued where we're going to go from there. I was like, we're going to get to the waiting room here with things like that. They did the Lamia, which actually has been one of Steve's favorite tracks to play for all.
Very strange lyrics, but I love Steve's playing on it.
Yes. Yeah, I said to the guys, like, check out these lyrics.
Yeah, I know.
It's like,
and cross your legs.
Yes, yeah. And then they did It. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Which I thought that was.
So does that? I've always wondered how that is. So is it like a slide on the guitar thing with the sound at all, or I was wondering how they make that sound.
No. I think if I remember serves, I think it came from the keyboard. I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was kind of always wondering about that as well. How they were going to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Because the guitar.
So.
Ding line there.
Yeah. And so they did that. That was it. And I thought, well, that's it for the Lamb stuff. I thought, that's a good chunk of the Lamb stuff they've got there, because obviously he's not gonna do the entire double album,
right?
You see, so, and I can't remember if he introduced it or not. But then he's like, well, we're gonna jump now back to Selling England by the Pound. Oh yeah, he did introduce it. He says, this is Dancing with the Moon at Night. I was like, yes.
Thank you.
And then a very memorable moment. Once that song was done, it's like, next thing we just hear. Cinema show, and I heard Chris to my left going, "Oh," no. And I thought that was kind of interesting because apparently back in the day, Genesis wanted to actually medley, kind of crossfade those two songs together, Dancing with the Moon Light into Cinema Show. That's right. Similar guitar picking, yeah. And then of course they did Isle of Plenty, and that was apparently the end of the show. You see, and they did their good nights and things like that, and everything went off. Came back up here, and I was thinking to myself, what more could they play now? What could be the key things that they do play?
Can Utility in the Coastline, obviously.
yeah, Seven Stones. And I thought they're probably going to do this one first and then this one last. And lo and behold, they did. They came right back on stage. Roger King keyboard and goes.
I was about to say, like, is he not going to play it?
Yeah, and the place erupted.
It's his in the air tonight, right?
It's his in the air. Yeah, it's his in the air tonight. It's Pink Floyd's Comfortably Numb. It's just, you know, so, and that was spectacular. And then that was the one weird thing, because it wasn't really a transition or anything. Suddenly we just went into a drum solo by Craig, you know, very slowly start building everything. But then I had a theory of where it could lead to, and lo and behold, it did. He gradually led into the groove for Los Angeles. Right. And did that. Yeah, and then
was
actually
literally last night where I had my wife's away and the toddler was asleep and the older one was on this computer playing. I was downstairs, wanted to start writing a story, and I set up my surround sound and I put on Seconds Out, very high volume, heavy bass, blasting it at me. So and I remember that last night ending with Los Angeles, and it was very amazing.
Yeah. So no, it was, and they closed the show with that and did the whole kind of clapping thing building up to da 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 da. And I said to the guys, my favorite moment in Genesis. Da, 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 da. I said, so yeah, it was incredible.
Now, it
truly was
since
just
you've seen him 3 times now, how did this rank with the other 2?
I mean, it's funny because like the last time I saw him, that would have been for it was the Wind and Wuthering anniversary.
Oh, nice.
So he did 11th Olimar, one for the Vine, which is in a different key, strangely enough.
Right.
Did not do Your Own Special Way, thankfully. And did not do what Gorilla.
Oh, I was too scared of Gorilla.
I was kind of hoping he would do Blood on the Rooftops because he has done that before, and I was really hoping he would. But no,
he has.
Because he got the acoustic guitar, and I thought, oh, good, he's going to do Blood on the Rooftops. But no, he then kicked off with Unquiet Slumbers for the Sleepers, which of course went into In That Quiet Earth and into Afterglow. But he did, though, which was really great. He kind of, in his very gentlemanly way, kind of made clear that, you know, he wasn't the happiest that What Gorilla, that the song Inside and Out got left off the album.
Yeah.
And replaced by What Gorilla instead. So he says, so we're going to play that tonight.
And they did do it live a few times too, so yeah,
fantastic
cool.
rendition.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's cool to bring that one up. But how did it feel like performance-wise, comparatively? Like,
yeah, well, I mean, I was obviously in amazing company because I think last time I watched it, I was just by myself. It just felt a really nice atmosphere to be with the guys and to listen to it. And yeah, I mean, his band has just never sounded better. I think just with this one, it just felt much more exciting. And yeah, I mean, the guys getting on. Yeah, it feels like he just gets better and better and better.
I mean, I saw, like I said,
time.
I knew he was taking a break from touring because he's probably in between legs or something right now. But I saw he's posting right again, back in the studio recording again. I mean, he loves working.
I know. Like. The guy just doesn't stop recording as well. That's the thing. Yeah. I mean, thinking about it though, like that we're in October here, and that Steve's been touring this stuff since the beginning of the year. So I mean, they're on fire.
I think it really helps to. Instead of doing the massive giant tour and all this, to break it up a lot and do this stuff, then it makes it a lot easier on him and everyone else and stuff. Yeah. So I guess the tough question is, will you see him again if you can? And you say, no, only if I can get to the pre-show.
Yeah. No, completely. I would see him. I think
now you've got the in with Lorelei. You see, so wherever you might see him. Yeah. Berlin or wherever.
Well, I think he's still
give Lorelei a ring and she'd be like, hook me up again, please.
Yeah, he's still touring he's still representing the Lamb. But now I just read online today actually that come next year will be the anniversary of both Trick of the Tail and Wind and Wuthering because they were released in the same year.
I kind of wish if with him announcing this tour, he would just do. I mean, I know it's a selfish reason that I say don't play any of your own stuff, Steve. Just play Trick and Wind and Wuthering, start to finish, each one.
Back to back.
Just do that.
Yeah, so, well, like I said, I think he's going to try and represent the two of them in one go, you see.
So, yeah, we'll have probably three to four songs
I think it was 2017 I saw him then. because I think it was still carrying on with the Wind and Weathering album era. You see,
works. Yeah.
because I don't know why, but even though technically it was released in '76, I kind of always keep thinking
it
that
was
album
late,
was
because
out
they
in
did
77.
two bloody albums
It was
in
very,
one
very
year.
late.
Yeah, I think it was
Yeah,
January
that's crazy.
and November or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of always see as Wind and Weather being as the '77 album. You see, because that year there was no original album; it was just a live album, seconds out.
Right.
So yeah.
Right.
Anyway, like I said, I would
Cool.
totally go and see
it
him
sounds
again.
like it was a great experience you could hope for.
But,
and then again, you'd
would
obviously recommend anyone who gets a chance to go see him as well too, because it's worth it, right?
Oh, completely. I mean, to be honest, when I first heard Steve Hackett's original stuff, I thought, holy crap, this guy has the true spirit of Genesis in him, way back in the day, especially albums like Spectral Mornings. I mean, his album, Voyage of the Acolyte, so many fans have said that is the great Lost Genesis album. They all say,
I've
it.
heard that. Yeah.
So it's truly remarkable. So I've always been a massive, since my friend Kian introduced you in mid 2000s. So yeah, I would totally go see Steve again, day after day, and I'll always be happy to check out any of his new albums as well.
Cool.
Plus, the guy loves releasing live material too.
Yeah.
Just live album after live album after live.
Just came out. Yep.
I've got about 3. I think there was so many I got that I kind of forgot that I had one. I was like, what's this one from? And what's this one from? And what's this one from?
Well, he just did another one, didn't he? It was like a double album or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think he's done like an acoustic live album now as well. So yeah. But yeah, I know. It's just kind of like, who's on this album? Which lineup
never
is on
stops.
this
The
album?
opposite of Peter.
It never stops. It was actually one great birthday of mine one year where I actually got his live album at Hammersmith Apollo, and my family was asking me like, "So, what do you want to do?" And I was like, "I want to watch this concert with you guys." So we all set up a little cinema down the bed, and the girls actually loved watching Nad.
Oh, cool.
Especially because the second half of the show, because it was the Selling England anniversary tour. That's what it was, and Nad appears, and he's kind of like dressed up with a little hat on and a stick. I think not the stick. Sorry, that was a different.
Yeah, because he's a
tour.
bit
That
of an
was
entertainer too, isn't he? Kind of thing. Yeah, with
massively,
things,
massively. And the girls absolutely loved him. And funny enough, Amanda Lehman completely reminded the girls of their daycare worker
cool.
as well. Complete spitting image.
There you go. You're doing it right, Dan. Passing it down.
So yeah. So that was a pretty amazing day. So yeah.
To a quick time. Okay. Would you say something else? Or
no, just gonna say that any Genesis fans, Steve Hackett fans, totally go see him. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I was gonna say normally as it's a special EP one, there'll be no drum bit today. People, apologies for that. But like I said, I mentioned like with Craig Blondell.
Yeah.
Amazing. Although one interesting thing was when he got up from his drum set to say goodnight, he was carrying a tablet with him and said, was holding the
like
tablet in his arms. Actual
iPad?
tablet, computer, like an iPad or whatever,
Maybe
just to say goodnight, and then
on
so I'm guessing notations or for the back address. I don't know. I thought it was just an
maybe he watches films while he drums. You never know.
Because he's that good.
He's working his way through Friends episodes.
Okay, great. Well, that's us out then. So thank you, people, for sticking with us. And like we said, high recommendations always. Go see Musical Box. Go see Steve Hackett whenever you can, whenever they're in town. All right. Well, it's pitch black for me here from
still
Berlin.
Bright
Good
here.
night.
And then future stuff we're looking at. We want to do a little episode on the Drumeo interview that Phil brought out.
Oh,
when did it come out? January. January.
I should know this. I don't know. I watched
January,
it
February.
when it came out.
It was filmed a year before that. But intense
January came out. Yeah.
2-hour interview with him and Nick and all that stuff. So we want to talk about a little bit about that and how interesting that was and have our opinions and stuff. And then after that, we will get working on our Richard McPhail episode. Dearly departed
Respect to that.
Richard McPhail. And
yes.
As Dan just mentioned, we were also going to do, you mentioned off camera, that we were going to do a Lamb episode for the Lamb box set.
Well, we were originally going to do the Lamb episode.
Yes,
but thanks to them, now that's delayed.
Because it's now March 16th? 19th.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to be out by now, but no, it's it's okay, I can wait.
I guess. Yeah. But then we talked about, as we said, doing the both sides.
Yeah, and I've still got my both sides
rendition.
5 vinyl collection.
Yeah, that'll be a special one to do because that was our first concert ever we went to see on that tour for Phil. So
it's a lot of like important emotional connection stuff.
Again, very nostalgic elements to that. Yeah, completely.
But for now, we'll say goodbye. So that's goodbye from Virgil. And
Goodbye from me.
thank you very much for
We'll
listening.
see you all soon.
And, yeah, we'll catch you on the next Me and Virgil.
Me and Virgil chop some wood, but we stop our swinging just to listen to a crying.
Thank you for listening to Me and Virgil, a Genesis Brothers podcast. Be sure to subscribe so you can get new episodes as soon as they're released. Feel free to rate and review wherever you get your podcasts. And be sure to mention us to your Genesis friends so you can agree or disagree with what we talked about on the show. Me and Virgil, a Genesis Brothers podcast, is edited by Dan Telander and produced and hosted by Dan Telander, aka me, and Alex C. Telander, aka Virgil. If you'd like to reach us to let us know what you thought about this episode, or if you wanted to correct something we were very wrong about, you can reach us at meandvirgilpod@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
Looking for someone.
You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok under the handle Me and Virgil Pod for announcements and info about the show, as well as anything else we think you'd be interested in related to all things Genesis. For now, thanks again for listening. We really appreciate it, and see you on the next episode of Me and Virgil, a Genesis Brothers podcast.
Well, me and Virgil, we beat the desert, we're riding fast and riding hard. We hit the city, the past behind us, so we raised some hell, we had some fun. And to this day, I can hear my saying to me, you're a big boy now.
All right, everything's set. I've got my tea.
Sue.
I've got my shirt.
Well, coincidentally, I put this shirt on today.
Coincidentally,
without
huh?
thinking. I thought I'll put my Genesis t-shirt on. I thought no, it's a Hackett reviewing day.
Since after this concert, when we've been trying to plan, I think haven't been doing anything in December, but then we were planning for January, and to try and record. I've been like, well, I can't wear this shirt yet because we might record this week, and I need to have it ready to record. I can't have it be dirty in the laundry for when we need it. Also, this is all clearly prime outtake material that you'll put at the beginning or the end of the episode, right? I'm sure. I've just pulled up the set list here for the Musical Fox thing, and because it's Setlist FM, so they have crazy ads everywhere. So the top ad is a guy swinging olive oil. It says, "Take one swig of olive oil at night," but he's chugging it like it's a beer. It's like,
Oh my
okay.
god!
Anyway.
Jeez! Wow!
Anyway, yay!
Yay! Got through it. Recording stopped.